everybody, my name's Jen. I'm from Wave Community Bank. Lots of you know me, lots of you don't. Now, lots of you are going to have questions, and it's really lovely that you've all come to join me. If you want full-on detail, there is actually an amazing recording from my boss who did the ReferKent session over a year ago now, and she goes into a lot more detail, and you can go back and watch that. And it's about 30 minutes long. But what we're doing today is I'm just going to give you a little update about where we are, what we've been up to, how we've been working in our community, and knowledge for you guys to how you can refer into us, how we can refer to you, how we can all work together just to make the world a bit more of a better place. So I get asked all the time, so what is a community bank? And then I have to say, well, we're actually a credit union. And then I get the inevitable question, so what's a credit union? So a credit union is a financially cooperative. It's a financial cooperative, and it means we're owned and controlled by members. Now, a lot of you will know about a credit union and a cooperative method, but you'll know it as the co-op supermarket. So you all pay £1 to be a member, and you get your little card, and it works exactly the same as that. So to be a member of Wave Community Bank, you pay £1 to be a member, and then it means you can have savings or loans with us. Now, I then have to explain, but it's based on a common bond. And then the next question is always, what does that mean exactly? Now, a common bond is something that joins us all together. It's a financial term. What it means is like a weird financial connection. For us, it's geographical. So we cover Kent, Medway, the London Borough of Bexley, East Sussex, Brighton and Hove, and then we also have members of Unite the Union in the South East region. Just a small patch, not very big. Some credit unions are occupational. For instance, Kent Police have links with the police one that they have, and then you can also have some that are associated with other trade unions. So I do know that the railways have their own trade unions because we work with them and we see them. Just want to talk briefly about those amazing people in that photo there. So this is part of our team, including my amazing boss. So if she is at least listening or watching back, I can say she's amazing. But we are a pretty small team. And the people in the photo are people that answer the phone. I know, very weird in a bank nowadays, people that answer the phone. They also answer the questions, and they are really amazing at everything that they do. And I can't talk about how wonderful they are enough, because without them doing everything they do, I can't do any of my work either. They are so amazing to our members, and I don't think they get enough credit publicly. So I'm going to make sure I shout about how wonderful they are. But you can see they are real life humans. They are absolutely mad as a box of frogs. They love a biscuit almost as much as me, but they definitely love a croissant. So if you do speak to somebody, it's more than likely to be one of these guys that are working in the office. Now, one of the guys that was in the photos is a guy called Jason. And I was really lucky to meet him, because when I was helping setting up CICs in a previous role, I was like, hey, Jason, don't suppose you can help me set up basic bank accounts for organisations? Because we all know that when we get funding, it's really difficult to open up bank accounts quickly. And he was really lovely and was like, absolutely, Jen, we can do it really quickly. If we have all the details from a CIC or a charity, we can set up bank accounts in a day. And I was so lucky to meet him, so lucky, because that solved so many of my problems. And then he started to explain what a credit union was. Now, I didn't know what a credit union was. Why would I need to? I've never come across them. And he does an amazing thing on LinkedIn. If you follow Jason, he talks about credit unions in general. And I just wanted to just talk about them, not just as me, but for everybody, because some of you will be covering national. There are 275 credit unions in the UK. It's not a small number. And they have more than 2.1 million members. Well, they're not customers, they're members. And between us all, we have 2.6 billion in loans. So when you think credit unions, don't think small, or when those statistics are from 2024, and they came from the Bank of England. So if you're a little bit geeky and you want to see a little bit more about the data, then you absolutely can. But when we talk about credit unions, don't just go, oh, they're something small. And no, we're really, really big. 2.1 million members. How many people can access that many people? When we all get together and start moving for good, then that's what we're doing. The other statistics that I saw that isn't included in these little bits is that something we all know within our sector is that loans from credit unions has gone up by 10% year on year recently. Now, that's not something that we're surprised by particularly, because we can see that. But it does mean that we're a hidden superpower to have in your arsenal of tools. And this is why I talk about us, not just as Wave, but we also talk about credit unions in general, because there will be some people that you talk to that won't be eligible to bank with us and work with us, but there are credit unions all over. So don't think, oh no, can't refer to a credit union. Absolutely, you can. And we all know each other. We don't hide information from each other, we talk. So back to Wave. Lots of questions we get asked. Are you regulated? Absolutely, we are. We're regulated the same as the banks. So we're regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority and the Prudential Regulatory Authority. Does that mean your money is protected and safe? Exactly the same as the banks. You can have up to £85,000 with us in savings, and you're protected by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. And that's £85,000 per person. And it's the same as you get with any high street bank. But we work in a slightly different way. When people come to us, members save with us, we were able to then give out loans slightly differently. I am going to come on to that in a little bit of detail later. Any profit we make, we pay out a dividend. Anybody who's ever worked with the co-op for a very long time, you'll remember, oh, did you get your divvy? It's the same. We work that way. But what we're trying to do is make sure that we're combating financial exclusion. And we know our community members, so we work in a really different way. And it sounds really soft and fluffy when I talk about it, and I absolutely acknowledge that, because I'm almost the soft and fluffy side. I did include some figures recently, because I think it's important for you guys to see these figures. Between our members, and I am a member, we've got 5.8 million in savings. We're currently got 4.7 million out with loans. It's likely before year end, as in December, that we'll get to the 5 million in loans, especially at the way we're currently working. The team are working incredibly hard. So just to give you an idea, that's not a small amount of money that our community members have got between them. Like you guys, we have to produce a social impact report, and I took these figures from this. I can't claim any help or any support in the growth of membership by 59% in 2024, because I didn't actually start until January. But how many organisations can say that they grew by 59% in a year? A lot of that is organic. So we've gone up to 15,000 members, slightly over now. But for your knowledge, 60% of those people are female. The majority of them are single parent households, which means that we do talk to people, and our members, we don't distinguish them between savers and people who borrow. We just say they're members. What I love most is people actually come up to me when I'm at events and they say, hey, I'm a member, thank you so much for helping me. And then they tell me their story. And I wish sometimes that our members came with a badge that has a little flashy light that says member, because then I can talk to you and say, how's it all going? How's life? How are we helping you? But until you tell me, I don't actually know. But we do get to hear some really lovely stories. So it's worth knowing. If you do want a little bit of bedtime reading, it's a very fascinating page turner. It might help you sleep. The social impact report is there and it is available on our website. It's quite interesting. There's lots of stuff about what we've been doing. So I do encourage you, just have a nosy, especially if you want to work with us a bit more. Deep dive about who we are, how we work. Read a little bit more. There's all of the information there. Now, we may seem like a young organisation, especially when you look at my lovely face, it's not as young. And when you look for our pictures on social media, we look and feel quite young. We're not. We celebrated 25 years of service this year. 25 years. So in this picture here, you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see Phil, who is just trying to join now from a car park. Phil, one of our Kent members, and lovely Becky, who's our team member. So that's us in the corner celebrating 25 years with the Colin the Caterpillar. And then in the top left, you have got the team down in Hove. Now, some of those are our board members and they are volunteers. Some of those are staff members. We've got our lovely CEO and obviously my lovely boss, Emma. And we had a bit of a party. It wasn't a big party, it was a small party, because what we actually wanted to do was share our success with our community. So how did we do that? We're actually giving away money, because why wouldn't we? So if you are not a member and you want to be a member, I'm going to come into how you could potentially win an extra £25 from us. Woohoo! We're giving away 25 lots of £25 as part of our 25-year anniversary celebration. And a lot of you, if you've been following me on socials, you will see that we worked really, really hard on giving away. So unfortunately, only one lot of £500, but we asked all of our members and people to tell us about community groups and charities that are doing good work in our areas so that we can hear about them. And everybody answered the call, and I did have a little bit of regret when I started to do the blog post about who had been nominated, because that was a really long blog post. Because part of our job is also to be a foghorn for how amazing you all are. It's not an exhaustive list. If you want to have a look, see who you can link up with, there is a list on the website. But we are currently working through our shortlisted finalists. And because it is Refer Kent, I'm just going to shout out the the Kent finalists and the Medway finalists. So in Medway, we have Cleopatra's Legacy CIC, who provides support to people navigating hair loss and breast loss, often due to cancer. In Kent, we've got Tiles of Joy from Jaw Ceramics, who create small tiles that go across Thanet particularly. The Sinden Theatre in Tenterden, who provide a community space, and Swanley Scouts, who are trying to get young people to experience new things. Now, we could have chosen some really amazing, massive organisations, but as a community bank, we had a lot of nominations, and what we did was we chose 10 organisations that are really small, and £500 could really make an impact. So if you are a member and you haven't voted yet, please go and vote. Big Kent ones, Medway ones would really like your votes. It'd be really nice to give away the money. That's what we do as part of our charity. Well, our 25-year anniversary, we're giving away money. So part of our 25-year anniversary celebrations is we also did some rather fantastic podcasts, if you want to know a little bit more. Now, Phil is a bit of a talented guy. I can't do podcasts, but he absolutely can. They're not very long. They're 10 to 15 minutes long, and they talk about all amazing things. Now, if any of you have seen me at events, and if you haven't, how unlucky are you? But if you have, you will have heard me pull out some of the statistics, particularly from the Tackling Loan Sharks one from lovely Kath, because she gives a whole load of information. It's only 10 to 15 minutes. But that's such an amazing piece of knowledge. And when you're driving between meetings, I really recommend them. You can access them all on Spotify, nice and easy. And they're not very long. So, one of the partnerships that we have just recently announced is working with ReferKent Housing Association. Now, they listened back to the presentation that Emma did earlier in the year, and they were like, we want to work with these guys because they do amazing work. I'm going to go talk about the products and the services in a minute, I promise, guys. But what they've said is, this is great. How can we help? What can we do? How can we link together? We love working with housing teams because we can see an impact those members almost instantly. By helping those people, we're helping children. We're helping families get into better financial well-being. And that's where we sit. We want to sit in making Kent, in fact, all of our area, our common bond. We want to make everywhere a better place. We want people to be in financial better circumstances. So Lovely West Kent came on board and they've said that they're going to be housing team partners with us. We do already work a lot with housing teams. They just haven't come out and stuck their flag to the pole. The reason that the Kent Housing team have worked with us is because they saw this from Fair for All Finance. So this showed how working with credit unions can help people. When you start looking at something goes wrong in somebody's lives, and I know a lot of you will have people in mind when we talk about this. I always talk about the small things like a washing machine breaking. And some people scoff at this when I say a washing machine breaking or a tire blowing can really throw your financial plans and systems out of place. If you're not prepared for it, if you are living paycheck to paycheck and on that breadline, having a washing machine break is catastrophic and it can lead. Now, this is a very lovely diagram and you can all access this because we're going to share the slide, hopefully, Stephen, after this presentation, but it can show how it can spiral really quickly and it can cost a lot of money. Now, there's a whole presentation again on the Fair for All Finance if you want a deep dive, but just by showing the difference that putting us in place helps. 60% of affordable customers reported they were better able to pay their household bills. Now, doesn't that make a difference? Just by talking to somebody like us as a credit union and going, I need a bit of help. How can you help? So that's one of the things that we did. I'm going to talk briefly because I know he is on the call. Lovely Phil Thorne, a lot of you have met him. We do a workplace savings schemes because we all know that workers are amazing. You know, accessing free support and free help is quite difficult. Savings and loans is really simple to set up. It doesn't take very long, and Phil would love to talk to you about it. It really helps. So if you are a charity leader or an organisation leader, you can access this. Last time Emma did a call and a bit of a shout out saying, hey guys, we'd really like to work with more charities and voluntary communities in the Kent area. Could you help with this? And the call has gone out and you've all replied. Romney Marsh Community Hub did, the Maidstone Community Support Centre where we're based, and Age UK Kent Rivers have joined this. Equally, KCC staff members, Maidstone council members, Swale and Ashford all can now access savings and loans directly from their payroll. What that means is we all do it. I'm going to save at the end of the month if I've got any money left over. No, before it goes to their bank account and they start spending, it can automatically go in. Now that gives people peace of mind. They're not having to set up a direct debit. And we know who they are and it makes life easy. And I know that I've spoken to an Ashford Borough Council member of staff who came up and said, you did a debt consolidation loan for me. I wasn't expecting to get it. You're doing it directly from my payroll. It's made my life so much easier. I don't have to worry about the direct debit bouncing. That's somebody's life who we've changed. And they told me that. I didn't ask them. They volunteered that information. And I didn't realise they had been struggling when I'd seen them at an event a couple of weeks before. And the difference in their demeanour and the way they walked and the way they talked, their back was straight, they were smiling. And that was just the one thing that we could do and the thing we could change. So if you want to talk to Phil about that, he absolutely will talk your ear off more than I will. So we were part of the big National Numeracy Day as well. We were a delivery partner. We were the only credit union to be a delivery partner. Everybody else for National Numeracy Day was big banks and big people, and then there was little old us. If you meet anybody that is struggling with maths, who's struggling with numeracy, you can access all of these free resources. They're constantly available online. I will talk about them in, if anybody stands still long enough. because I just think it's so important. Numeracy is such a big problem for so many people that we meet. So I do encourage you to read that. These figures, they don't look like much, but just to give you a heads up, I started working at Wave Community Bank 235 days ago. And in that time, I've attended 216 meetings, presentations, or events. That's a lot, isn't it? If anybody wants to do the maths, that's quite a lot. 80 of those have been events where we've had a particular stand or people have asked us to do presentations. Normally I'm a bit more concise and less waffly, but this is what it looks like. Obviously, some of the faces down the bottom, lots of people will recognise that from the financial hardship team. They stand still long enough, they will get a selfie withered up, which I quite like. Obviously, we do turn up for stands and events and we stand in a corner. Sometimes it's a presentation where we talk about credit scores with my biscuits. This is why I'm known as the Biscuit Queen, because we explain credit scores with biscuits. So I'm just going to talk really briefly about how that looks like. So with a good credit score, you'd be offered a 7% APR, for instance, which is great. If you are somebody with a poor credit score, probably around 200, most people within that category will be offered by high street banks somewhere between 100% APR, I'm not even lying, to 1,246.9% APR. That's a real life example. If you really want to know the website, I will signpost you to it. 1,246.9% APR. People who have a low credit score and low numeracy and low financial well-being and understanding don't understand what that means. They don't realise how much they're repaying. So by using biscuits, I explain the difference between paying back £4 or £1,246.9, which is a ridiculous amount. So that's what we talk about in a bit more detail, but I'm really conscious that I've been talking a lot. So let's talk about the products and services really quickly. Basic bank accounts. Those of you who work with our homeless population, who are dealing with people who are just leaving prisons, who are dealing with people who have walked out of situations who don't have any proper ID. They've walked out and they're just stood and they don't have any access to any banking. This is a solution. It's called Suits Me. You can get it really quickly. If you are a food bank, you can be the person, especially for our no fixed abode population, you can be the place that card goes to. It means they can access banking, they can access money for their first time. If they need to access online, I'm a big advocate for the libraries, because the library teams, especially across Kent County Council, know so much. They signpost to all of us. They are an absolute superpower, and I cannot talk about how amazing library teams are as much as anybody will ask me. They are amazing and they help so many people. So if somebody says, I'm really struggling with this client, they don't do online banking very well, but they don't have a basic bank account, the librarians are the people that will help them with this. But it's a help to get people back into mainstream banking. For whatever reason, they can't access it. But with no ID, you can't get any banking. This solves that. Details can be found on the website. It's really simple at the top. It just says Suits Me. Follow the link. Let's talk about the products. I always talk about savings first, because I think that's more important. Because 1.8 million people in the UK have no savings at all. So that means if anything breaks, you can't fix it immediately. So we do a premium bond scheme. The way I describe that for anybody who's never had a premium bond is like playing the national lottery every month, except on the lottery, you don't get your money back. With a premium bond, you can go, hey, I'm really sorry, my washing machine's broken. Can I have some of that money back? For us, we can only put up to £200 in, but you could win 5 grand. You could win nothing, but you could win 5 grand. But I sometimes affectionately call it as the oh no account. Oh no, I've blown a tyre. Oh no, the kids' feet have grown, I need to go buy new shoes. Can I get that money back out? Absolutely. But by having that £200 buffer really helps people. And our members tell us that. Christmas saving account, we all know somebody who's really rubbish with money. They can save in it all year. And between the 1st of November and the 24th of December, they can go shopping, get everything ready. It means they've got that little bit of a cushion, and it means they can budget, because some people really struggle with budgeting, and that's one of the things that we go out and help and support and do. Young savers, do we do savings account? Absolutely, and they are the only ones that get interest. They get 2% with us until they're 16, and then they move into adult accounts and they get dividends. I encourage people to use it, because by showing young people that credit unions are an option, it means that when they're out and about talking with their friends who don't have the financial knowledge and all of the help that some of us are lucky enough to have, they can go, oh, hold on, you're in a pickle, you're not having a great time. Do you know what? I think the credit union might be able to help you. Let me signpost you to them. So this is why we encourage people very young on, because they are the people that are going to be helping us in the future. And I'm a really big fan of that. And 2% is better than nothing. Now, when we talk about loans, this is where it gets very complicated, because people always say to us, your APR looks particularly high. And I go, yeah, it does. If you're financially safe, the APR does look quite high. It's not 7% or 19% as advertised by the banks. I think it's sitting at 42.9% last time I checked. But I have just been on holiday, so I could be wrong, so bear with me, gang. But the way to explain it is, for every £100 that we loan to somebody, £75 goes against their loan and £25 goes into a savings account. So not only are they repaying a loan, I always use washing machines because that's what a lot of our members come to us for help with, or for debt consolidation. But washing machines are easier. You're paying off your loan for your washing machine. You've got a washing machine in the house. It's starting to work. Everything's great, but you're also saving at the same time. As you get towards the end of your loan and they start to meet, normal banks don't ring you and go, hey, how's that washing machine getting on? You've got £100 left on your loan and you've got £100 in your savings. What would you like to do? Would you like to finish your loan off early, or would you like to continue saving? We want them to continue saving with us because it makes the world a slightly better place, and it also gives them the resilience. But if they want to pay off that loan early, then that's how that works. Now, regardless of any loan that I talk about, following on, that is how all the loans work. There is always a savings component, and that's exactly how we work. That's how all credit unions work. The main question that any of the loan team ask starts with affordability, and it's not just about credit score. Credit score does impact, but it's not just that. Are we going to put them in financial hardship if we give them this loan? If the answer is yes, then we will decline the loan. Is there a problem with gambling? Yes, we will decline the loan. But instead of just saying, no, really sorry, see you later, off you go, bye, sorry, you can't have money from us, an email goes out and it says, we're really concerned about this. We're concerned about your gambling. Please go to the website. Here's a link for help. A lot of you are signposted on there. It's not just about saying no. It's about saying, we're concerned. Can we signpost you on? We do decline loans. But that's because most of the people we're dealing with are high risk. I've got the stats from June off the top of my head because I didn't look at July's. In June, the average credit score was 200. Now that's particularly low, which means they're really high risk. It means they've been declined by most high street banks. They don't know where to go, and loan sharks are probably the next option if we say no. Or really high percentage lenders. So we do the family savers loans. It can come from their child benefit. The child benefit gets paid to us directly. We take the money that we need, and then we give them the rest of their child benefit money the same day so that they can do what they want. It's really simple and to do. Really helps people. We do a lot of debt consolidation loans. Well, a lot of the time. People come to us and say, hey, I've got in a right old pickle. We can do up to £35,000. Does make the loans team a little bit nervous when we say that. Generally, most loans are a little bit smaller than that. But if our APR is lower than what they're being charged by the credit card company, wouldn't you be considering that? Because we can help. Good news, I've nearly finished talking. There are loads of products and there's loads of information, and it's very much a self-serving website. And I'm sure that there are probably questions that I can see in the chat, hopefully in a minute. But what I wanted to do was highlight, this is a real life review. I haven't made it up. We didn't ask Sue to, write nice things about us and we'll pay her. She's done this off her own back. And she said, I'd lost hope of anywhere helping me out of a bit of a messy situation. She applied to Wave and was so happy when I was approved. Thanks to John and Lauren, who were in the photo, the service was efficient, speedy and seamless, and would definitely recommend. Now that's one example of a review we've had. There are hundreds. And they really are. We were nominated for some lovely awards by our members. So yeah, we look small. Yes, we do lots of products. Yes, we do lots of help. Equally, as many of you know, I will attend a packet of crisps being opened if it helps one person get out of a debt cycle and out of poverty. So I will say thank you for listening. Just for your all slides, because you will get it. It's got my name, my email address, and my telephone number. You will get an out of office constantly because I'm either in meetings or at events, as you foresaw from those lovely statistics. So don't be surprised if you get an email quite late at night or early in the morning. Email is the better way.
So thank you. Really appreciate you coming. Look forward to seeing you all again soon. Okay, thank you.
Thanks very much, all.